monthly budget report, check ledger review. Which one will go over first? Budget?
Why don't you do the check ledger first, because the budget will tie into the next item on the agenda.
Anything unusual, Tom?
No, when I came in and reviewed the checks, they were all good.
Okay. You know, I'm wondering if we should, as a group, when we get this here, well, everybody gets in their packet anyways, but, you know, wondering if we should have a dollar amount that we go down and look at a check coming in to get a idea of things that jump out at us. We say, why is that like that, or something, you know? Every so often you might have a question when you see a high dollar amount, like 20 or 10 or $20,000 in a check. You know, you've got pretty good descriptions on here, but sometimes if they're not, like for example, the Carlson roof one on there, is that the final check on that project?
Yes.
Okay. Everything coming under budget on that one, or on budget on that one?
Right, on budget.
Okay. And our person we hired to review this and go over everything was happy with what he had?
I haven't talked to him yet.
Okay.
He stopped in, didn't he? I don't think he did stop in.
Can you touch base with him and get some kind of final statement on, documented out of him that everything went okay and he has no issues or something? Because you sure don't want to leave it hanging and then get to 3 years down the line when there's an issue. Because at that point, it's not him that's on the hook, it'd be us that's on the hook.
Yep, I'd be happy to.
Then we have something in the file at least. Although I don't know where that file would reside. Maybe we have a scanned location for that document or something, I don't know. So, if you guys see something that jumps out as big numbers, flag it and say, hey, what is this one here?
Overall. Yeah.
You know, small ones are kind of a waste of time.
We usually do.
Because our system checks any balances on anything.
There really shouldn't be any big, with the big ticket items that you're talking about, Dan, there really shouldn't be any surprises for the most part,
Okay.
so.
Yeah, and I can't imagine you're gonna find anything down that jumps out because now we're double redundant on everything and everybody in our system takes care of that. Okay, in that case, let's go on to the budget item, I suppose, right?
Right, Mary did a nice job of updating since what in your packets, okay? So I'm gonna pass that around right now. And the reason why is because we want to give you as much up-to-date information as possible for the second agenda item, which is the fund balance designations, which you'll be doing next week as a full board. So here comes the updated revenue sheet. And we're actually anticipating some more revenues yet related to last fiscal year. Just take one and pass it, sorry, I didn't tell you that.
Oh, that's one too, huh?
Yeah, just take one.
Sounds like all the school districts in this area did better than we anticipated. High school did the same thing.
Yeah.
This is as of 6:30.
Yes.
Okay, and then the second handout that's come around.
Am I still going with these?
Yeah, you just take one and pass it around.
Okay.
Does this avoid the other one you had here? on six,
Exactly,
maybe?
exactly. And the second one that's coming around is the expenses, and this is a front and back one, okay? So just take one and pass it around.
Okay, so what we got in our packets for it and everything?
All right, so I'm gonna ask you to look at the revenue piece first, okay? That's the single-sided one. The column that's important for our discussion tonight is the, you know, you've got the codings and you've got the descriptions, then you got fiscal year 12, and then the column that's important for discussion tonight is fiscal year 13-14. Do you see that one?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So if you go all the way down to the bottom, you see 16.3.
Mhm.
Okay? So that's the revenues to date. That's important for you to know. As you can see, we're about, $100,000 ahead, $130,000 ahead of anticipated revenues. If you compare that number to budget, which is the very, very last column. Now, what Mary did with those red items in some of those cells, if you see that, she updated that information today. So, Mary, is there anything you want to explain in the revenue part as far as the updates?
I recorded the taxes that we'll receive in August but get booked back to June. We had a peer mentor grant with Kathy that I recorded today. We'll be getting that exempt computer aid, all that gets booked back to June. And the 2 title grants I put, Title II we're done with, and Title I, I believe that'll be our final claim, the 139. So what I did was just, the one that you got last week, I didn't have time to do, record all those receivables yet. And we still have, if you look in the receipt book, there's still some more money that will be coming in. It's not, a huge amount, but it's the rents for June for the daycares, and some of the payments from the other districts for nursing services and things like that. So there still will be money coming in to be recorded that gets booked back to June.
Are you saying there's no more Title I money coming in?
No, we're done with that,
Okay,
but the difference of that will carry over till next year, right?
okay, we're 20,000 under budget on that
Mm-hmm,
It means we didn't spend it.
yeah.
one. Yeah. Okay.
We can carry over so much money. The hard part is how do you use all that money fitting into the criteria, so. continue to-
It was quite a lot of work spending that much.
Yeah, it was. I mean, because you want to be effective with it, but,
Yeah.
still.
All right, so that's the revenue piece. Now, if I can ask you to look at the expense piece, and keep that revenue piece in front of you though, okay? The revenue piece, I'm gonna ask you to go to the second side. And way down at the bottom again, you got your codes, you've got your descriptions, you've got fiscal year 12, 13, and then you've got this current year, which is fiscal year 13, 14. And if you look all the way down again at the bottom of the page, you've got 15.5 million. So that's what we spent, all right? At this point, now, there are still some bills that have to be paid, all right, that we have to book back, just to tell you that. But the initial budget was for 16.4, 15.5 is what we spent at this point. Now, if you compare that to your revenue sheet, that 15.5 and 16.3, you're looking at approximately about an $800,000 surplus. Does that make sense to you? Just in roundabout numbers?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That number, the 51,000 transferring into food service, that is the number. But the transfer to special ed, that could change a little bit. I don't think it's gonna change by a lot, but it still can change because there's still some money coming in between Fund 10 and 27.
And Mary's referring to the red numbers when she's
What was
telling
the
you.
big transfer in that food service?
That's how
That's how
short we
short we
fell.
were.
What's the reasoning on that?
Participation.
Well, we're bitten in the rear from Obama. So in theory, we should not have that problem next year.
No, because we have a guarantee of
Well, the 20.
the 20 or 21,000,
Yeah,
whatever it is.
okay,
Right.
all right. Okay,
And I couldn't figure out why the transfer was that much higher to Fund 27, but what they did was, if you remember last year, we got all that Medicaid money. In fact, that's gave us a problem because they gave us so much money and then we
At the
didn't
last
fail to
second.
meet our
yeah.
maintenance of effort. What they did this year, DPI, it said if we get any of those big payments that aren't the regular payments, those big ones are usually from past years when they're reconciled out and we get that lump sum. That's all booked to Fund 10 now. It's not booked to Fund 27, so that's why our transfer is gonna end up more because that money went into Fund 10. But we didn't get big ones this year yet. They were smaller this year than they had been in the past.
Okay, so this transitions into the second agenda item then, so if you want to keep those two reports in front of you.
Yep.